some of you guys, some of y'all have been to or seen some of these big feasts. All of that food that gets thrown away at the end, because none of those folks could eat leftovers. No doggy bags, so a lot of stuff just gets thrown away. But can you imagine how many hungry, poor people could have been fed with that food? That's how God sees stuff. It's kind of like when we do communion and you got the bread and stuff that's left over, you take it out and put it in the elements so that the animals, birds of the air, they can partake. We didn't make that up. But you got a bunch of folks that came to eat fine stuff that could have a great meal at home and probably had some food at home anyway, but they would still have. So it's desire not to treat the rich. Invite not thy friends and brethren and neighbors that are rich. Now, this doesn't prohibit the entertaining of friends and to do that sometimes, but don't do that all the time is what he's saying. Don't make a common custom of it. Don't do it in the hopes that you'll be invited by them so that a repayment will be made to you. In other words, don't be somebody that only gives to people that can give back to you or have an ulterior motive every time you do something. You do something looking for something. God blesses you to be a blessing. But if you're always doing something, expecting something in return, that's not blessing. One feast for the rich will make many a great meals for the poor. Solomon said, he that giveth to the rich shall surely come to want. In Proverbs 22:16. It says, give to thy friends, but let it be thy poor friends, and not to those that don't need it. Many make feasts only to make a show, as Ahasuerus did in Esther, chapter 1, verses 3 and 4. Don't expect to gain from your generosity in this world. Give to relieve the poor in this world. When you make a feast, instead of showing off with what is rare and nice, set the table with something plain and wholesome. Just meat. These folks just want the necessities. That's all they want. Invite the poor, the maimed, those that have nothing to live on, or nor able to work for their living. Pat was telling us about something that she saw on social media where this restaurant, I think you said was in Texas.
Someone saw it in Jersey, I think.
Yeah, in Jersey. There were people that were going behind the restaurant eating out the trash can,
Right.
and they saw that, so they put a sign up there and said, if you're hungry, don't eat out of the trash can. Come inside and you can eat free. You know, are we our brother's keeper? I mean, it's just that simple. But we'll put out a whole bunch of money in expectation of a whole bunch of money. And that's what our motive is for doing it in the first place. That's a selfish motive. And you'll get stuck in that one. Eventually, you'll get stuck in that one, believe me. You want to take care of those who have nothing to live on or are not able to work. When we were having that discussion in our Sunday school, I'm not going to call them no names, but some young folks said, I don't know if I necessarily agree with everything y'all were saying about young folks. So you have to listen to what they're saying. And actually, they had some good points. So everybody deserves an ear. Everybody wants a voice. So if you want a voice, you need to have an ear too. You need to be able to listen. But when you do all of this glorified banqueting and all that kind of stuff, some of them folks sitting in your house talking about you because your china ain't as nice as theirs, and your huts ain't as big as theirs, and your floors aren't as shiny as theirs. Whereas those poor folks ain't looking at none of that. They're looking at that food and they're thanking you and they're grateful. But you got, well, we don't eat that type of caviar. We don't eat that caviar, And those folks go away talking about you. Whereas if you feed the hungry, they're gonna go away thanking you and feeling blessed. Don't worry about what it costs you to feed the poor, because you'll be rewarded at the resurrection. I'm gonna say again, don't be concerned about what it costs you to feed the poor, because guess what? Disobedience will cost you more in the end. Figure that one out. There's a state of happiness reserved for them in the other world, and we may be sure that the charitable will be remembered in the resurrection for the just. Forgiving alms, it's righteousness. Works of charity perhaps may not be rewarded in this world. For the things of this world are not the best things anyway. And therefore God does not pay the best men in those things. But they shall in no wise lose their reward. It shall be repaid in the resurrection. Folks, it's just a matter of motive. What's in your heart? Thank you.
Amen.
Amen.